Have you ever wondered what would happen if the sun's rays were powerful enough to cause a global internet outage? The sun, our star, is a constant fiery presence in our lives. It's a gigantic furnace, fusing hydrogen into helium at its core, releasing an immense amount of energy in the process. This energy is what makes life possible on Earth. But let's delve a bit deeper into our star's activity. Normally, the sun goes about its business with its surface roiling and boiling in a state of perpetual motion. But every now and then it throws a tantrum in the form of solar flares. These are sudden, violent eruptions that catapult vast amounts of energy and radiation into space. It's like the sun is belching out its internal fury, and when it does, the solar system feels it. Now, imagine if one of these solar flares was so powerful, it could disrupt our entire global internet network. So how could a solar flare, a phenomenon happening nearly 93 million miles away, potentially knock out our internet? This might sound like the plot of a science fiction movie, but let's dive into the science behind it. Solar flares are gigantic bursts of radiation that erupt from the sun's surface. Occasionally, these flares are accompanied by a coronal mass ejection, or CME. This is where the plot thickens. A CME is a massive cloud of magnetized plasma that races through space at breakneck speeds, and if the Earth is in its path, we might be in for a rocky ride. As this wave of charged particles approaches Earth, it begins to interact with our planet's magnetic field, causing what's known as a geomagnetic storm. Now, it's important to understand that our planet's magnetic field acts like a protective shield, deflecting most of these particles harmlessly into space. But when a particularly intense solar storm strikes, the shield can wobble, leading to disturbances in the magnetic field. These disturbances can have a profound effect on our satellites. You see, our modern world heavily relies on satellites for communication, and that includes our beloved internet. The high-energy particles from a solar storm can fry the electronic components of these satellites, disrupting their functionality, or, in extreme cases, rendering them completely useless. The satellites we depend on for internet connectivity orbit the Earth high above the atmosphere, making them particularly vulnerable to solar storms. A powerful enough solar storm could potentially knock out these satellites, leading to a widespread internet outage. And it's not just the satellites that are at risk. The geomagnetic disturbances can also affect the long-distance transmission lines that carry internet signals across continents. If these lines are disrupted, the internet signals they carry could be lost, exacerbating the outage. In essence, a potent solar flare could set off a chain of events that leads to a global internet blackout. While this scenario might seem far-fetched, it's a stark reminder of just how interconnected our world is and how much we depend on the steady hum of technology. Let's delve into the repercussions of such an event. What would a world without internet look like, even if it's just for a few hours or days? Picture this. Communication channels would be compromised, with emails, social media, and video calls grinding to a halt. The financial sector would also take a hit. Without an online network, stock exchanges would freeze, online transactions would cease, and the flow of money would be affected. Let's not forget healthcare. Telemedicine, which relies heavily on internet connectivity, would be crippled. Remote patient monitoring, virtual consultations, and electronic health records would be unavailable. Our transportation systems, too, would suffer. GPS navigation, online ticketing, and real-time traffic updates would be a thing of the past. In essence, our modern society, which is so intricately woven with the threads of the internet, could unravel, even if temporarily. The consequences could be far-reaching, reminding us of our vulnerability to cosmic events. To sum up, our sun, the life-giving star, has the potential to disrupt our digital life. We've explored an extraordinary chain of events, beginning with an unusually intense solar flare being unleashed. This celestial phenomenon sent a surge of solar radiation hurtling towards Earth, interacting with our planet's magnetic field and causing an electromagnetic storm. This, in turn, disrupted satellite communications, leading to a global internet outage. This situation serves as a stark reminder of our vulnerability to space weather events, emphasizing the importance of understanding and preparing for such occurrences. It's essential to remember that while our technology has advanced leaps and bounds, it remains susceptible to the whims of our universe. While this scenario is largely hypothetical, it underscores the importance of scientific research and preparedness to mitigate the potential impacts of such cosmic events on our technologically driven society. The cosmos is full of wonders, but it also holds potential threats that we must be ready to face.